Thanks for tuning in to another video. I am Stacy, the creator of Twisted Kinks Crochet. In this video, I'm going to show you how I do my doll heads and how I create hair for my dolls. I am going to do a hairstyle a little bit different than any that I've done before. So I'll take you along for the ride. In the intro, you saw a hat that I made. In another video, I talked about how I made this hat using the pattern to the T, and it still didn't come out the way that I wanted it, or the way that I thought it was going to come out. It didn't fit my head properly. And maybe it's because I have a big head. I don't know. But it didn't fit my head properly. And so I thought, wow, that would be pretty for a senior doll, which I have never made before. The doll head I showed in that same video and at the beginning of this one, it looked as if I ran out of yarn, and that's why I didn't complete the doll head. So I'm going to take that apart as well, and we'll make the doll head together. We'll make the doll head, we'll do the eyes, give her the face, and I'll show you how I'm going to make the hair for the senior doll. So if that sounds interesting, let's get started. So before we get started, let me just tell you, I'm using Hobby Lobby's I Love This yarn in cinnamon. And then here's the yarn that I'm going to use for the hair. And from that, I made some changes to the pattern to better suit the look that I was going for. So a couple of extra stitches to the face, to the doll head, so that the face looks more rounded. It gives more of a chin look. I also added a couple more stitches to the body to give it a more of a stomach area. So you can tell that it was a little bit of a stomach, a little bit of a pooch, not much. And then I also created a way to make my dolls look like they have feet. They could be shoes, they could be barefoot, but they have feet sewn on, crocheted into the pattern. And so again, this is not my own original pattern. It is a pattern that I have adjusted to my liking. I'm also using a 3.75 millimeter hook. This hook size, this combination, the hook size, this yarn, that's what works for me. So enough talking, let's get started. We're first going to start with a magic circle. Hold the yarn with my index finger and my thumb. I cross it over my index finger and my middle finger. I come back around and I make an X and go under the first layer and then hook the second. And then we just pull up and we're going to do a chain one. I had to go get my yarn of a different color because this is what I use as my stitch marker. Okay, so we did our magic circle, we chain one. We're going to do 6 double crochets in the magic circle. Okay, 6. We're going to tighten this, but we're not going to close this round. So this doll head and all of the components for the dolls are worked in a continuous round. So we're not slip stitching into the first stitch and then starting again. We are just going to continually go around. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochets. We'll pull that tight, and it's all single crochets. So if you have never made a doll or any amigurumi, all single crochets. Okay. Now we take I take my yarn. That's going to be my stitch marker. I'm going to lay that across up against the stitch that I just finished because I'm getting ready to start stitch number 1. And remember, it is a continual round. So we're not closing off and then starting again. We're going straight into the first stitch from the previous round, and we're going to increase. That means we're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. So that's 1. 2. So at this point we have 12 single crochets, 2 in each stitch from the row below. We're going to continue to increase. We're increasing for 6 rows. So this is the first row. We have 5 more rows that we have to increase. First, I'm going to take the yarn that I used for my stitch marker and again loop it over so that it is against my last stitch and indicates this is the first stitch of the round. So in round 3, we're going to do 1 single in the first, 2 singles in the next, 1 single and then 2. So 1, 2, and 3 is going to go in that same stitch. 1, 2, and 3 will go in the same stitch. So we're going to go all the way around, and at the end of this round you should have 18 stitches, 18 single crochets. So here's what we look like at the end of round 3, and we have 18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 single crochets. The last stitch, now I'm going to take my marker and drape it over the opposite direction, right next to my last stitch. This is indicating where my first stitch goes. We are in round number 4, so our cadence is going to be of 4. Always the last 2 go together. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, and 3 and 4 are going to go in that same stitch. 3 and 4. Now in round 4 we should have 24 stitches because we added 6. So you know what I do here. I will take my yarn, bring it back the other way, lay it up against my last stitch. And this is round 5, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've made it all the way around. My stitch marker is showing me my first stitch, and this is the last stitch. I've already done the 3. I'm getting ready to do 4 and 5 in the same stitch, so I know that I've ended in the right way. So there's 4, and there's 5, and then I'm going to take my stitch marker and drape it off to the other side, draping it to the back. And I'm getting ready to start round 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the cadence. Round 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Single, 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 single. 2 singles in the same stitch. Okay. Y'all go ahead and do that all the way around. So at this point, my audio cut out for whatever reason. But what I was explaining was that at the end of round 6, you should have 36 single crochets around. And then we're going to increase again in round 7. So we would do 5 single crochets and then 2 single crochets in the next. So single, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in the 6th, you would do 2 single crochets. And at the end of round 7, you should have 42 single crochets. And the audio is still out, but you can probably read my lips at this point. I'm just showing you the end of the 7 rounds, explaining again that you should have 7 rounds, how we count them, that it should be a total of 42 stitches. And once you're completed round 7, we are just going to single crochet around for 9 rows. So I'm going around, starting my 9 rows of single crochets in every stitch. Single crochet in every stitch around for the next 9 rows. 42 stitches in every round, using my stitch marker back and forth so that I know where I'm at. What else can I tell y'all? Keep going around and around and around. So here's just a little clip of the progress. I was probably halfway through those 9 rows of single crochets all the way around. A little bit distracted by this book, The Silent Patient. Very good book. Very good book. Kept me intrigued the whole way through, and the ending, a big shocker. So this is what we're looking like after we finish the 9 rows of single crochets around. We have 42 single crochets and we have 16 rows. 42 single crochets around, 16 rows. And now we're going to do another row of increase. So when we left off with doing 5 single crochets and then 2 in the next. So we're going to now do 6 single crochets, 2 in the next. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. That's 6. And now we're going to do 2 in the next stitch. I'll just keep doing that all the way around. Back around to my last stitch. Remember, stitch marker shows me the first stitch. So my last stitch is going to be the 2 single crochets to finish off that set. And then I bring my stitch marker yarn to the front and we're going to do 1 single crochet around. In this row you should have 48 stitches because we added 6 more. And now we're going to just do 1 single crochet in every stitch around, so you should end on 48 stitches. So we've done the initial magic circle, 6 single crochets. We increased for 6 rows, so that's 7 total rows at 42 stitches. And then we did 9 rows of single crochet all the way around for 42 stitches in every round. Then we did another increase round where we did single crochet in 6 and 2 single crochet in the next. And we did that all the way around. And then this last row was single crochets all the way around, and that gave us 48 stitches all the way around. So now we're going to start to decrease. But what you could also do at this point is to stuff your head and place the eyes so that you know that this is the way you want it to look. But let me show you what it would look like stuffed. Hold on. but just stuff it to what feels good for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start decreasing. I'm going to take this out because I want to do mine after my 4 rounds. My 4 rounds of decreasing. Okay, so we're going to decrease in the same order. Our last increase round, we did 6 single crochets and 2 doubles in the next. So that was our cadence: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to do the same thing in reverse. We're going to do 6 single crochets, decrease 2 against my yarn marker, and I'm going to go into, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now I'm going to do 2 together. So you just go in the first one, pull up a loop, do not close it off, go into the next one, pull up another loop, and then go through all 3 loops on the hook for 1 single crochet. So we'll recap. We did a magic circle with 6 single crochets. We increased for 6 rounds, and then we did, to give us 42 single crochets in the row, and then we did 9 rows of just straight single crochet, no increases, still 42 at the end of round 16. Then we did an increase round, which gave us 48 single crochets. So we did 6 single crochets and then 2 in the next. Then we did a round of single crochets. So that was still 48. That would be row 16, 17, 18, 19. And then we started our decrease with 6 single crochets and then single crochet 2 together, then 5 single crochet 2 together, and then 4 single crochets, single crochet 2 together. And now we are stuffing. And at this point, you can also place your eyes, because you still have room to get inside there and work with it. So let me grab some eyes and we'll place our eyes on this. I think that's a good size. I think most of these are all the same size anyway. So that's a good size. Here's a bigger. That's a bigger eye. Oof. A little bit bigger. So we're going to go with these. And then I have the backs. And then we need some felt to make the whites of the eyes, and then we'll pop those in there. We are about ready to put the eyes on the doll's head. You can use felt for the whites of the eyes. I just like to use the materials that I have. And that's what that eye looks like. A magic circle, 5 single crochets in the circle. Don't cinch it too tight. Put your eye through it, then cinch it tight, and then close it off with the other piece, the other end of the yarn. I'm gonna double knot this, and then we'll be able to sew this in. You will want to use a lighter weight yarn, so maybe like a 3-weight yarn. You can even go smaller. And I use a 2.5 millimeter hook to create that eye. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other one and meet you back when I'm ready to put the eye on the doll. So I have both eyes done. Now we're going to put them on the doll. I place mine between rows 12 and 13, and then I take them 5 stitches apart, sometimes 6, just depending on how it looks or how I'm feeling that day. So we can make this the outer corner of the eye, and then we grab this using your crochet hook. Just grab these two from the inside and pull them through, and then you can position it. So that's eye number 1, and then we want to leave 5 or 6 spaces between. So don't count the one that it's in. Count the one next to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So if I go 5, then 6 is here. Now, does that look too close together, or does that look perfect? If I take it out and put it there, is that too far apart, or is that perfect? Let me switch you around that way. I mean, I kind of like it that way. So 6 stitches between. I like it. Here we are with the completed decrease rounds. After doing the doll eyes, I did 3 more rounds of decreases. That will put you at 12 single crochets in the round. And now you want to do 2 more rounds of straight single crochets. So 2 more rounds, straight single crochet, 12 in each round, and then we'll finish it off. So I'm on my final round of single crochet, straight single crochet, no decrease, no increase. So there's my stitch marker yarn. I'm pulling it back to the front. So I'm on my final round of single crochet, no increase, no decrease. I'm taking my stitch marker yarn, putting it up against my last stitch. This is telling me my first stitch is here. So let's go. And this should be 12 single crochets. We'll do this round together. 1, 2, here's 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 right here. And that's where our yarn started. That's where our row started. And then that's our 12. So our head is done. I'm going to fill it a little bit more, but the head is done. So you'll fill it, you'll shape it so that it looks, the way you want it to look. Like I said, it gives it more, so adding that extra row of increase gives it a little more of a defined jawline, I guess you can call it. So we'll stuff it a little bit more. We'll leave a long enough tail because this will end up being sewn onto the dowel that we're going to use to stabilize the head onto the body. From here, you'll want to do, ears if you want to put ears on. I'm not so sure that I'm going to do ears, but I'll tell you how it's done, because the hairstyle that I'm going to do for this doll probably will cover, so you won't even see ears anyway. You do a little nose, and when you do a nose, you just pass your yarn back and forth, back and forth. You pick your spot, like say you want your nose to be that wide, and you just pass your yarn in and out until it's the thickness that you want. I normally, when I first started doing dolls, I didn't do a mouth. So we'll see what this one turns out to be. I mean, maybe I could do one where she has some wine color lipstick or something. But anyway, I'm going to get started on the hair. And the hair is done, well, it's called the cap. So that's done the same way that you do, that you start the doll itself, because it's just gonna sit on top. I've thought, is it possible, would it work if I started the doll head with the color of the hair that I'm going to use, and then when I get to about here, so that would be row 1, 2, 3, 4, about row 5, then start with the flesh color, so that I don't have to crochet a wig cap and sew that onto the doll's head. I mean, I don't like doing a whole lot of extra work if I can find a shortcut or an easier way to do it. But let me finish this off, cut my yarn, and then get started on the hair. And I'll bring y'all back for that. Oh, let me show you this too. You don't have to worry about when you do your yarn back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's not going to get stuck in there. You're careful not to crochet into this yarn. So all you have to do when you are completely done is just go ahead and give a little tug, and it'll come right on out. Right on out. So we'll go ahead, stuff this a little bit more, get it back to the firmness, mold out that jawline, that neck, so the neckline looks the way it's supposed to look. And then we'll get back and get started on the hair. Alrighty. So that's how the wig cap is looking so far. I did 7 rounds of increases, started with a magic circle, did 6 single crochets in the circle, increased for 7 rounds. In those 7 rounds, I did my single crochet in the back loops. That's going to give me the raised bump that I can see in order to put my next row of curls. 7 rows of increase, back stitch only, back loop only. Then I did 7 more rows, no increase, straight single crochets, and I alternated between both loops and back loop. You're going to end on round 14 going through both loops. And if you can make this out in the video, you can see where there's the raised stitches that will tell you where you should place, or help you to see where you're going to place your curls. The curls were done by chaining 9, chain 9, and then 2 single crochets starting in the second chain from the hook, and then 2 single crochets in every chain after. That gives it the curl. Then you slip stitch into the next. No, you skip the next stitch, slip stitch into the next one, and then slip stitch into the one after that, and then start all over again. Chain 9, 2 singles in the second chain from the hook, and 2 singles in every chain after. On this first one, I just did a single crochet in every stitch. So you can see the difference between the curl. This is much looser. This is much tighter. This is the look that I was going for, so I'm going to keep on going with that. And as I make my way around to the front, I'll figure out how to do the curls there and then start working up. and around, and then up to the next level and around, and up to the next level and around. And then I will come back and show you what that is looking like. But look at the gray hair on my senior doll. I love it. So the hair, after starting off the project with a magic circle and 6 single crochets in the magic circle, and then increasing for 7 rounds. Nope, increase for 6 rounds in the back loops only. And then we did 7 more rounds of just straight single crochets, no increase, no decrease, just straight single crochets. And we did back loop. We alternated between back loops and both loops. Back loops only, and then a row of regular through both stitches. We did that for 7 rounds. Now I'm showing you this because this is a row that I should have put the curls on, but I missed something because of the way that my rows were coming out, and it was late, and I was just getting tired. Anyway, so I missed that row, but overall it doesn't matter because it still looks full, right? With all the curls, it still looks full. So I'm okay with that. And if I wanted to, I could go back in, reattach my yarn in that area and add more. I probably won't because to me, it's fine. Okay. Once you get all of those rows done, your 7 rows of single crochet, no increase, no decrease, back loop, both loops, alternating. Then what you want to do is close that up, slip stitch in that next stitch, and then do a chain of 9. Chain of 9. What you'll do after that is 2 single crochets in the second chain from the hook, and then 2 single crochets all the way down. 2 single crochets in the second chain from the hook, and then 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way down. That's going to give you this little curly Q. You can do 1 single crochet in every stitch, and it'll give you a looser type of curl, such as this one. So this was 1 single crochet in every stitch. This is 2. I liked this curl better because it's for my senior doll, and seniors have tight curls. I don't know why I think of that. Older women. Now I'm a senior, so no shade, but I just think of older women and their curly wigs. Anyway, so you'll do that. I just tickle myself. Then when you get down to your last stitch, then when you get down to your last 2 single crochets in that last stitch, you will slip stitch. You'll skip the next stitch in that row. You'll skip the next stitch. You'll slip stitch in the next, and then you'll slip stitch in the one beside it, and then start your curls all over again. Chain 9, 2 single crochets in the second chain from the hook, 2 single crochets all the way down, and then slip stitch, skip a stitch, and then slip stitch into the next, and then slip stitch into the one following that. chain 9, 2 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. You're just going to repeat that all the way around. I think I told y'all this is the first time that I've done this. That this was my idea for my senior doll, and so this is the first time I've done this type of hair. And let me show you on her. I haven't cut her off yet because we'll end up, sewing it on. So I will knot this I will cut my string, cut my yarn, give me a long tail, and then I'll just, let me show you on her. So the wig cap is 14 rounds all together, right? 14. So it's not gonna, you don't want it to fit on the head like that. You want to fit it a little ways back. So you have a hairline, the forehead, and then you see how it comes. Oh, then you see how it comes to the back of the head. The forehead, and then how it fits the back of the head. So that's how we do that. And we'll fluff the curls up. We'll shape the face, shape it around the face. And in this doll, I did not do ears because I knew the hair was gonna cover the ears. I might do some anyway and give her some earrings, but I knew the hair would cover the ears, so wasn't too concerned about doing ears. But that is how, and we're gonna have to find a name for her, but that's how she's looking. So we will, like I said, we'll not fasten off, but we'll knot this. We'll cut a long string, and then we'll start weaving in or sewing in the hair, sewing on the hair. And I'll just go in here, and I'll pick a spot out here somewhere, and then I'll go in and out, in and out, in and out. We need to give her a name. I don't know why Miss Esther just came up in my mind, but if y'all think of a name for my senior doll, y'all put that in the comments for me. And that brings us to the end of another video. I hope you guys enjoyed the process of creating the doll head and creating the hair and the curls. If you've made it this far, thank you for sticking around. Do me a favor and consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and leaving a comment if you don't like the name Miss Esther. Let's give her another name. Thanks again, and I will meet you guys back here in the next video. Bye.